On Global TV News Express, President Tinubu calls on stakeholders, Niger Delta, to adhere to rule of law. In business, Nigeria, Jamaica to review bilateral air services agreements. On the foreign scene, China vows to respond to U.S. steel tariffs. And in sports, Patrice Motsepe secures second term as CAF president. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Uyi Agmofwebe. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. You can download the Global TV Nigeria mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our 247 broadcast. President Bola Tinubu says all stakeholders in Rivers State polity should adhere to the rule of law to ensure lasting peace and prosperity. The president made this appeal to political leaders from the South during a meeting with Niger Delta leaders under the Niger Delta Forum at the Aso Rock Presidential Villa in Abuja. Tinubu advised the leaders to be more broad-minded, selfless, and focused on the larger vision of salvaging the region politically and economically by insisting that the judiciary's interpretations of the Constitution be respected. The Commonwealth Association of Nigeria has joined other member states to commemorate Commonwealth Day 2025, reaffirming its dedication to democracy, human rights, global peace, inclusivity, and sustainable development. Global Television correspondent Kikelemo Okeri now reports.
Commonwealth Day is an annual celebration observed by millions across Commonwealth in Africa, Asia, the Caribbean, and Americas, the Pacific, and Europe. The events and activities taking place throughout the month of March include civic and faith gatherings, school assemblies, debates, flag-raising ceremonies, and cultural celebration. Stakeholders at the event call on the federal government of Nigeria to eradicate lack of peace and unity so as to enhance inclusivity and national development.
The main thrust of this lecture is the peace and unity of our nation. That the important thing is that every country has its own story. The difference between one country and another, the success of one country and the failure of another, is the difference in the choices they make. Whether choice of leadership, Nigeria is progressing, but not as a rate that ought to progress. Because all the countries that were poor alongside Nigeria in the 60s, they have all overtaken Nigeria. And the basic thing that we are having is this issue of lack of unity and lack of peace within Nigeria. Like I said there, that
I encourage every single Nigerian to have the courage to take bold steps to set aside those things that bring us, that divide us as a people, and bring those things that unite us as a people. Because when we are united, we will make stronger achievements together.
The core values of Commonwealth is peace, democracy, and good governance. And that's why all the speakers are talking about peace, how we can live together as one family under God. That is the core activities and core values of the
2025 Commonwealth Day, which is tagged Together We Strive, provide a critical opportunity to take stock of the national challenges, progress, and expectation in both personal and community relationship. Kikelemo Okeri, Global Television News.
Oh, thank you so very much, Kikelemo. The Nigerian Senate has directed the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to comply with a Supreme Court ruling that mandates the restoration of the Aniocha North State constituency in Delta State. The decision follows a motion put forth by Senator Nedo Wonko, representing Delta North, emphasizing the necessity of adhering to the court's decision. Here is Queen Agaba's report.
During Senate discussions, lawmakers voiced concerns that the constituency's suspension had deprived its residents of appropriate representation in the Delta State House of Assembly.
I rise to move the motion for the restoration of Aniocha North 2 State Constituency pursuant to Supreme Court judgment. The Senate notes that in 2014, the people of Idumujono, Idumuchuboko, Okunzu, Uboba, Idumuogo, Ubodu, Ubulubu, Anioma, I'm sure that sounds familiar, Ogodo towns in the Aniocha North local government area of Delta State initiated a legal action at the Federal High Court, Asaba, seeking the restoration of the Aniocha North 2 State Constituency.
The abolition or suspension of certain state constituencies across the country has actually deprived the people of proper representation and caused a level of imbalance in the political equation of some of these states. And because INEC is a creation of the law, it is expected that once the court has ruled in favor of the restoration of suppressed constituencies, it should be taken as automatic.
Second North, we have only one constituency in that local government, state constituency in that local government, which is bigger than most other local government that has 2 or 3 constituencies. So we are in court, and the population supports that. So what he's saying is correct in most places, especially in Delta State, sir.
Once the Supreme Court pronounces, you know better than I do, because as a lawyer, you know that. Once the Supreme Court make pronouncement, it's like making a law. So in this case, there's a pronouncement by the Supreme Court that this should be done. And once you have that done, you know that as a lawyer, that must be implemented.
In his remarks, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, stressed the importance of restoring the constituency before the next Delta State House of Assembly elections.
That the Independent National Electoral Commission complies with this resolution by ensuring that the restoration of Aniocha North 2 State Constituency of Delta State takes effect in the next House of Assembly election after the current life of the current Delta State House of Assembly, in compliance with Section 115 of the Constitution. Those in support of Resolution 2 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
The Senate therefore called on INEC to implement the Supreme Court's verdict without further delay. For Global Television, Queen Agaba reporting.
Queen Agaba there reporting. A Saudi-designated Nigerian Hajj air carrier, Flynas, has signed a pilgrims airlift agreement with the Nigerian government for 2025 operations. This comes after Nigeria announced it would begin airlifting its pilgrims to Saudi Arabia on May 5 this year. The 2025 Hajj Pilgrims Airlift Agreement was signed by the Chief Commercial Officer of Flynas, Khalid Al-Ejare, and the Chairman and CEO of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, Professor Abdullahi Saleh Usman, at the Commission's headquarters in Abuja. The Federal High Court in Makurdi, Benue State capital, has restrained the State Elections Petition Tribunal from conducting its sittings at the Nigerian Bar Association headquarters or any other venue in Abuja. This follows an order of the Federal High Court served on members of the panel, stopping them from conducting any sitting. Felicity Ndere completes the report.
Following the relocation of the Benue State Local Government Elections Petition Tribunal to the Nigerian Bar Association headquarters in Abuja over allegations of insecurity at the Makurdi High Court complex, the Federal High Court Makurdi has given a restraining order stating that the appeal tribunal is to be held in Makurdi and nowhere else. Cancel to the respondents as well as the petitioners acknowledged receipt of the court order prohibiting the local government tribunal from sitting anywhere in Abuja.
In that order, sitting of the Benue State Local Government Election Tribunal and the Appeal Tribunal is to be conducted or held in Makurdi, so that whenever the arrangement is made they will serve us hearing notice to go and sit in Makurdi.
Because of the court order, the members of the tribunal, some of them are high court judges, they put heads together and they've addressed members, the council, the petitioners, and have resolved to revert to the Chief Judge of Benue State for the way forward. So if there is going to be security provided for us in Makurdi, nobody is prepared to take the trouble to come to Abuja.
Members of the panel, 3 panels, Zone A, B, and C, informed us that they are in receipt of a motion, a restraining order from the Federal High Court, Makurdi, and that they being judges themselves, they would not like to disobey the court order. So that being the case, we didn't sit.
They expressed optimism that this obstruction will not affect the 180-day duration for the local government elections petition tribunal to conclude its proceedings. Felicity Ndere reporting for Global TV News.
We appreciate you for your report there, Felicity Ndere. Let's turn to other stories for you now. Governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodimma, has reaffirmed his commitment to the development of the state, urging leaders of Owerri Zone to remain united and focused on the collective good of the state. This comes as a high-powered delegation led by Captain Emmanuel Iheanacho passed a vote of confidence on his administration. Correspondent Amarachi Ibe has more. We'll bring you those details in a subsequent bulletin. River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara was denied access to the official quarters of the State House of Assembly along Aba Road in Port Harcourt, where lawmakers loyal to his predecessor, Nyesom Wike, had been holding their sit-ins. Fubara, who arrived at the complex in the company of top government officials, including Secretary to the State Government, Dr. Tami Danagogo, and his Chief of Staff, Eddie Sinde, met at locked gates, effectively preventing his entry. Speaking to journalists at the scene, the governor accused Speaker Martin Mayawule of deliberately avoiding him, stating that several calls placed to the lawmaker had gone unanswered. The House of Representatives has called on the federal government to immediately launch a nationwide diphtheria vaccination campaign in schools to curb the spread of the deadly bacterial infection. Rotimi lamented the rising cases of diphtheria, citing data from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control's weekly diphtheria situation report of January 2025, which recorded 24,804 confirmed cases across 25 states since 2022, with 1,269 deaths in 18 states. He also acknowledged the efforts of the NCDC and the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency in combating the disease. This is Global Television. You're watching the live broadcast of News Express with Uyi Agmofwebe. When the rest of the news returns, Nigeria, Jamaica to review bilateral air services agreement. We have those details from the business world as well as small stories from foreign and sports segments for you. Do stay with us, everyone.
Do you know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
We appreciate you for staying with us on the news. The second part of this broadcast now returns with business, where Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Kayamo, says a committee will be set up to expedite the review of the existing bilateral air service agreement between Nigeria and Jamaica. Kayamo said these at a meeting with the Jamaican ambassador to Nigeria, Lincoln Downer, and his consular, Andre Hibbert, in Abuja. The aviation minister, in his response, welcomed the ambassador's proposals and expressed his eagerness to take the next steps. He further committed to visiting Jamaica if necessary, stating that he would be willing to travel to that country to finalize and sign the BASA agreement in person. And bringing it closer to home now, Benue State Governor Babangana Zulum has approved 1 billion naira in grants for 9,403 micro, small and medium enterprises in Biu and Harwood local government areas as part of state government's economic empowerment initiatives. The initiative aims to boost local businesses, reduce poverty, and create employment opportunities in the region. Speaking at the inauguration of the disbursement exercise in Biu, the governor reaffirmed his administration's commitment to empowering small businesses and youth entrepreneurship as a strategic approach to fostering economic growth. The National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, says trading partnership for 2024 indicates that China and India have emerged as Nigeria's largest sources of imports, accounting for a combined 20.31 trillion naira in total imports. The report noted that China accounts for 14.14 trillion naira of Nigeria's imports in 2024, while India accounts for 6.17 trillion naira. As we go further into the foreign scene now, Pakistani security forces have freed 155 passengers from a hijacked train as the operation to rescue the remaining hostages continues in the southwestern province of Balochistan. The train, which was carrying around 450 passengers, including army personnel and their families, was targeted by more than 100 gunmen from the separatists' Baloch Liberation Army on Tuesday afternoon. Pakistani elite commandos backed by air power have launched a massive operation after the train was hijacked in the remote Sibi district. Local media say that at least 10 people, including the train driver, were killed in the gun battle. Quite a sad development there. China will host Russia and Iran for trilateral talks on Tehran's nuclear program on Friday, that's according to Beijing's foreign ministry. A foreign ministry spokesperson said the three parties will exchange views on the Iranian nuclear issue and other issues of mutual interest. During the U.S. President Donald Trump's first term, which ended in 2021, Washington withdrew from the landmark deal that had imposed curbs on Iran's nuclear program in return for sanctions relief. In the meantime, China says it will take all necessary measures to protect its interests in response to new U.S. tariffs of 25% on steel and aluminum imports. China has always believed that protectionism offers no way out and that there are no winners in trade wars and tariff wars. Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Mao Ning said when asked about the tariffs at a daily news conference. The United States' actions are believed to seriously violate World Trade Organization rules, seriously damaging the rules based on multilateral trading system and are not conducive to solving the problem, she said. And now to sport, where there's so much of excitement. Technical director of the Nigeria Football Federation, Austin Eguavoy, says the new head coach of the Super Eagles, Eric Shiel, had the final say on the final squad for this month's crucial 2026 World Cup qualifying matches without interference from the technical committee. Nigeria will face Rwanda in Kigali on March 21 before returning to the Godswill Akpabio Stadium in Uyo to face Zimbabwe on March 25 in the bid to revive their World Cup qualification bid. South African businessman Prince Motsepe has secured a second term as the president of the Confederation of African Football after being re-elected unopposed. Motsepe, 63, who first assumed office in 2021, had announced his intention to seek re-election in October last year. His second four-year term was officially confirmed during CAF's Extraordinary General Assembly meeting held in Cairo today, with FIFA President Gianni Infantino in attendance. Now let's end Global TV News Express with a recap of some of our big stories. President Bola Tinubu says all stakeholders in the River State polity should adhere to the rule of law to ensure lasting peace and prosperity. In business, Benue State Governor Professor Babangana Zulum has approved 1 billion naira in grants for 9 1,403 micro, small and medium enterprises in Biu and Howell local government areas of the state. On the foreign scene, China says it would take all necessary measures to protect its interests in response to new U.S. tariffs of 25% on steel and aluminum imports. And finally, in sports, we told you South African businessman Patrice Motsepe has secured a second term as president of Confederation of African Football after being elected unopposed. And that's all we have for you on News Express. Thank you so very much for watching. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms and now showing on your screen using @GlobalTVNG. We'd love to also remind you that you can find us on DSTV channel 365 star times 276 and download the Global TV Nigeria mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our 247 broadcast. On behalf of the production team here in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, I am Uyi Agmofwegbe saying a big thank you to you for watching. We will see you again.